All right, we are live for another Thursday's Top Tips in Real Estate here on the Arrow Title Services page. And we are happy to host this every single week to showcase local realtors and lenders in the local area that are sharing their big brains of real estate with you guys to share different topics each and every week. So this week, we are going to talk about what to know about equity. And it's a very big topic right now. There's a lot of people with a lot of equity in their homes, and I'm excited to get into this topic. I think it's going to help you guys a lot. So if you guys have equity in your homes right now, and you are looking to possibly purchase here in 2021, make sure you guys stay tuned because there's always great information all the way throughout this. We are going to start off with the first portion, which is us talking about this discussion. Second portion is where we go into our number one top tip of the week, because it's Thursday's Top Tips in Real Estate. And the third portion is any announcements that these local realtors and lenders have in the industry right now. And you can always watch the replays of these videos on our Arrow Title Services YouTube channel. And we go over different topics each and every week. So it's always great. Also, reach out to the local professionals who are on here because they have great value on their Facebook pages, whether you're looking to buy or sell right now. They are the ones that you want to look to when trying to go that route. So let's get started on this very enthralling topic. And I am so excited to have us be started with Alannah. Tell us from your perspective, what is equity and why people should be paying attention to it?
Well, thank you, Lucy. And this is a phenomenal subject. I'm Alannah Ghazal with eXp Realty, and I cannot wait to dig into this just a little bit. Home equity is what gets people really excited when they're looking to own instead of rent, because them building up money, building an asset, ultimately that's the whole purpose of buying and owning your home. There's a couple of different ways to get it. And first I'll explain what it is. In layman's terms, your home equity is the difference between the market value of your property and what you owe on the mortgage. So say your home is valued at $400,000 and you have paid $100,000 of that, and you have a mortgage currently for $300,000. That means that your equity in the home, you own $100,000 out of that $400,000 currently. So with that in mind, that is the nut that when you put a large down payment on a property, you're immediately feeding that, that sort of savings into your home, if you will. So the using of that when you're deciding to shop, the value is that as you continue to pay your mortgage, you are building that equity, and then you're able to apply that when you sell a home to your next purchase or to savings or to whatever you plan to do with that money after you sell. So there's a lot of reasons that it's valuable, a lot of reasons that it's important, and there's a few different ways to build it. One of them is, of course, putting the money initially into a purchase when you make it as a large down payment. Another option is making extra payments, and having those savvy habits with your spending where you're investing it into paying down a loan faster. And so you're building your equity faster. And there's a lot of different ways that can come into play being of value for you. But I want to make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to speak on this because it's so deep. So I'm going to turn it back over to you for the time being, Lucy.
Thank you, Alannah. Great way to launch off that conversation, and very great details to start that off. So thank you so much, Alannah. We are going to go to Codi. Codi, what do you have to add to the conversation?
Hello, Codi with Bourgeois Real Estate Group. Hope everybody's well. So Alannah pretty much defined it. It's the difference between your property's fair market value and any liens or mortgage that you own on the property, what you have on the property. Your equity is an asset that helps you build wealth, and it gives you a lot of options. I mean, you can use that money to invest in other real estate. You can access your equity by, home equity loan, cash out refinance, reverse mortgage. It's you build that equity by paying down on your mortgage. or the property's appreciation in value. And keep in mind that it's fair market value, not what you paid for the house. So you want to keep that in mind. But equity is always good to have. It's like your own piggy bank, and it's something that everybody should strive to get. And that's my take.
Thank you, Cody. Great thing to mention there, that it is not what you paid for the house. It's what the house is worth. So, you know, when it comes to refinances, which we handle here at Arrow, if anybody's refinancing, those refinances are going based off of the value of the home, not not what you originally paid for it. So that could give you more equity if you got a good deal on your home, or whatever the case might be in the future. So that's a great tip to put in there. And I don't want to steal all the fire from Eric, because there's a lot you can do with equity on the mortgage side of things. So Eric, please take us away. Show us the, what from the mortgage side, how important equity is and how that can help people have a better understanding.
Awesome. Thank you, Lucy. Eric Rosberg, Cross Country Mortgage. And equity is essentially, that's one of the main reasons, other than having a roof over your head, that is the reason you're buying a home. You're always, whether you're renting or whether you're buying, you're paying a mortgage, you may as well make it your own, so you build that equity. Alannah gave the perfect example. Your house is worth $400,000, you owe $300,000, you have $100,000 of equity. Now, what can you do with that equity? Codi had mentioned refinancing. So if you're looking to stay in your property, if you're looking to put a pool in or redo the kitchen, you can take that equity out. You can do what's called a cash out refinance and take that equity, and it's liquid, and you can do what you want with that. You can go on a vacation. You can add more value to your property by doing those home improvements. Another thing you can do with equity, and I like to call it generational wealth, because that's what you're buying a home, generational wealth. You can pass that equity down to a family member. If you were to sell your property to a family member, you can do what's called a gift of equity. So let's use the $400,000 house, for example. Let's say you owe $300,000 on it. You can actually, it's called a gift of equity, gifting it to a relative. A lot of times it's like a son or a daughter will accept that gift of equity, and that will actually help them get approved, help them avoid mortgage insurance and that type of thing. So there's a lot of great things with equity. And again, that's the main goal. I do want to bring up a statistic. This is a couple months old, so I may be a little bit off. In the Treasure Coast, I saw that properties value had gone up 17% year over year. And I believe that was in January. So just by buying, you gain 17% of equity year over year. That's not common. That doesn't happen all the time, but that's in the current market that we're in. So I'll pass it back to you, Lucy.
Great addition there, Eric. Thank you so much. And to hear, there's so much to delve into with this conversation. And now that everybody's kind of spoken, I would love to just open the floor to a conversation about this, pros and cons of the equity, how the equity can be best used in these certain situations, because you obviously don't want to pull all equity out of your home. You actually aren't able to do that when it comes to a mortgage, if you are trying to get a cash out refinance or whatever it might be. But if you are utilizing that equity, obviously when you sell a home, you then get that equity that you have back from that, and you can put that towards a new purchase. But there's a lot of things that you can get into here. So I kind of want to open the floor. Does anybody have anything to add to the conversation that they to get us going? Yeah, go ahead, Alannah.
All they're gonna say is
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Ladies first.
You're so sweet. Thank you. So a lot of the reason, as we've all now touched on, for the, you want to get into what we sometimes call a starter home, so that we can continue to upgrade and evolve as our lifestyle, as our needs, and as our wants are changing. And so that is one of the most clear-cut paths to the using of your equity, transferring of it to be able to continue to better that situation. And you know, the pros to using that route are enormous, and it's also depending on the nature of, you know, the team you're using as you shop and make those financial decisions. You can really build wealth. It's actually, real estate is in the top 2 ways that people build wealth in large quantities over a short period of time, which is what we're all looking for. We coin it the American dream. One of the cons that I want to pull out, because it's really tempting to want to pull out that cash and be able to liquidate it and use it for other things. The risk associated with that is that when you pull it out and do what's sometimes called a second mortgage, it becomes a situation where your home becomes the collateral for the payback of that. So you want to make sure you ask a lot of questions before you go pulling out your home equity and applying it somewhere. Get a lot of research under your belt before you make those decisions to make sure that you're not putting your home and your family at risk as you pursue whatever those goals are.
Absolutely. Great addition to that conversation.
Can I hop in and add to that? So Alannah, you touched on something that's very important. I get asked this question a lot of times: which is better? We call it a HELOC, home equity line of credit, or a cash out refinance. And I have a very specific answer. It depends. So it depends.
So specific.
It depends on the amount that you're looking to take out. There's a lot of variables. What you're going to find on a home equity line, I'll talk about some negatives. It's an adjustable rate. You're going at a little bit higher rate, but you're only paying interest on the amount that you're using. So it's all what your goals are, when you're going to use the money. Sometimes a home equity line is better. Sometimes a cash out refinance is better, but that's what people like myself are for. So pick up the phone and give me a call, and we'll look at both ways. But
great addition there. Go ahead,
That's
Cody.
what I was going to say is the cons. I mean, you guys want to make sure that you are looking into all of the information you need, because there are fees associated with, you know, however you're pulling the equity out of your home. So you want to make sure that that's something that you can absorb. You know, if you get a HELOC and you default on that, you could lose the property. So you want to make sure that whatever you're pulling that money out for is going to benefit you in the long run.
Absolutely. And I think one of the biggest topics right now too is how equity is applicable to like land purchases. Like if you have a land or you already own land, land is really big right now in our area because, well, one, they're not making more of it. And we're having a lot of construction happen within our area. So the people that own land, and let's say you own your land outright, or even you own a majority of it, you can actually utilize that equity towards building a home. Is that not right, Eric, with like new construction loans and such?
That's how I built mine.
So
I use my land as a down payment, and
yep.
Here I am.
So that could be a down payment. So that's like a way that you can utilize that equity for that same property. Go ahead, Eric. Sorry.
Exactly. So I'll do a specific example with this. Let's say you have a parcel of land, it's worth $100,000, and the build out on the house is $300,000, and you already own the land. It's already valued at $400,000. So that equity is transferred to your loan to value.
Great example. And you know, I'm actually curious with the fact of, because land doesn't necessarily get appraisals if you're purchasing it cash, right? So let's say that you're purchasing a cash, like we know that land is going for a lot in our area. We know that. So I think the average lot, quarter acre lots, going for like 60, like minimum. So you know, around that era. So let's say you're purchasing a land. How does that equity then translate? Because the equity comes from an appraisal, right? Like, or how do you quantify how much equity is from that land on your side, Eric?
So on a new construction, it's what you paid for it, because there's not going to be an appraisal on the land. It's the final project it's the final build out, and that is based off the construction costs, which we kind of touched back on when we talked about new construction. So everything is looked at, how much the builder makes, how much the materials are, how much that house costs, and then that's what the end value is based off from.
That's good, I feel, for people to know, for that clarity, because, you know, a lot of people know that we know that in our industry, appraisals are a big piece of the puzzle when it comes to not land, but homes in general. So obviously, if you're trying to get a mortgage and you're purchasing a home, that amount that you're paying for that home, if it doesn't appraise, then you can't purchase the home, right? Or you can't get a loan on the home. You can still purchase the home and you can pay more for that property out of pocket to be able to match that. But that's like a whole other topic that we actually are going to be talking about soon in the upcoming weeks. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. So thanks for that clarification, Eric. When it comes to land, is there anything else that anyone wants to add to the aspect of equity and why it's important to know what to do with it in this current market that we're in?
Well, I mean, I think that you always want to maximize what you have. So, I mean, if you can use that equity in your home to purchase other real property, let's say, you know, and turn it into a form of passive income, I mean, you know, that would be a good thing for you. That could, you know, pay you back in the long run, pay off whatever loan you took out, and then, you know, put some money in your pocket as well. So you always want to look at it as, you know, how can I make this money work for me?
Yeah.
And, you know,
100%.
talk to professionals and we can guide you along the way.
And I'm sure Codi can speak to how crazy the rental industry is right now.
Oh, absolutely. It's bananas. it's better to buy. It really is.
Absolutely. But if you're buying and you're turning that into a rental, there's money there in our market right now.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So
that's why I was saying passive income. I mean, rental, the rents these days are just outrageous. You know, but that's where we're going. Everything's more expensive now. So,
but it's funny because we say it's outrageous, but it's outrageous for the local community here because we've been here for so long and we see how much it's grown. But it's not, who it's not outrageous to are the people coming from New York, Miami, California, bigger cities that are spending a lot more money to live in their specific areas. And then they come here to Florida. They're like, I can live in a beach town for only $2,400 a month. Like I was paying $4,000 in New York or whatever it might be.
That is true. So, I mean, you know, $1,800 a month is crazy to us, but I mean, that's to them, that's like a shoebox in New York. So, you know,
putting it to work for you,
where you are, I guess.
Is the best advice, though. It really is.
Yeah.
Make it work for you.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Is there any other golden nuggets you guys have to share when it comes to equity?
So from a lender point of view, I just want to touch on a couple things. A cash out refinance is, everybody asks, what's the rate? What's the rate? What's the rate? A cash out refinance will have a slightly higher interest rate than if you were to do what's called a rate and term. You just want to either shorten the term, extend the term, but you're not taking any money back. With that said, I'm going to give you an exact example. I'm doing a refinance, cash out refinance. They're taking about $50,000 out. It's a $356,000 loan. Their current interest rate, they bought the property about 2 years ago. It's 4.75. 4.75. Now, a couple of years ago, we were saying, oh, that's a great rate. So they are currently, so now I'm doing it, I believe it's 3.375. If they were, is for the cash out, if they were to do a rate and term, they'd be 2.875. However, the point is they're taking almost 50,000 out. They're doing a lot of repairs, a lot of upgrades. Their mortgage, they are extending it. They are adding 2 years. So this can be looked at as a downside. They're adding 2 years, but their mortgage payment is less than what they're paying. They're getting 50 grand in their pocket and they feel good about the interest rate. So that's some pluses, some minuses. It all comes down to your goals.
Absolutely.
True.
Great example. And also, if you're taking that equity from your home and you're putting it back into your home, and you're actually going to be raising the equity of what that house is now valued at. So it's very important too, though, if you're doing those types of projects, to heighten the amount that you can get for your home if you're looking to sell it soon. Make sure you guys are speaking to a local realtor and understanding where you can put your money into your home, where it's going to actually translate into the value that you're trying to project for that home. So if you put in a new driveway, okay, that's probably not gonna give you what you're looking for. If you're spending $10,000 on a driveway, it's not gonna give you $10,000 worth of equity in your home. So, I mean, that's a very random example, but and I know that maybe those equity pieces that are going to raise the equity of your home and the value of your home, or maybe something that the local realtors might want to chime in on. Do you know what the top thing to upgrade in your home is that will give you more equity?
Absolutely. We are in a place where kitchens and bathrooms are where you're supposed to be dropping your money, people.
Yeah.
Kitchens and bathrooms.
Absolutely.
You want to put them,
the one thing I do want to say though is
time. Sorry, Cody, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Repeat what you were saying, Alannah, and then Cody, you say what you were mentioning.
Oh, I was just going to say the rule of thumb is put your money where people are spending the most time. Think about where you're spending the most time and what you have going on in your space that could do with the most love, and just siphon all that money that way. Go ahead, Cody.
Right. I mean, what I was going to point to, wherever everybody is mingling, that's where you drop the coin. So, but I was going to say, just, keep in mind the fees, because I remember the first time when I refinanced my house, I did not know what I know now. And after reading and seeing what I was actually being charged for, I mean, they charged me like 12 grand in closing costs on a refinance. So, that hurt a little bit, but so just make sure you know what you're looking at, what you need to be looking at.
And what's going to be worth it for you in your situation. Like Eric mentioned earlier, he gave a very specific example that it depends.
And I'm gonna continue with what Cody was just saying. If you're working with a lender and you're looking to whatever type of refinance, but we're going to stick with the cash out. If they're not giving you options, whether it's 15, 20, 25, 30 years, they're showing you your options. They're showing you what's called a break-even period, because there is going to be closing costs. There's closing costs. There's a cost to doing these type of loans. If they're not showing you what that break-even period is, like whether it's 14 months, however much it's going to cost, if they're not explaining that your escrows, you are going to get some of the escrows back if you're currently escrowing. If they don't give you those calculations and those options, give me a call, because I will.
Love it, Eric. And that's why we do
professional.
Call your local professional. And that's why I love having these too, because guys, I just want you guys to know, if you guys are watching live right now, or if you're even watching this replay, that the local professionals who are on here, they are taking time out of their busy days. It is crazy right now in the real estate world, and they have taken the time to sit down with me and you guys to share this information, because they know how important it is for you to get this information and make you a little bit more powerful in knowledge when it comes to the industry. But there's so much more that goes behind it. And like Eric said, it is very dependent on your situation. So make sure you guys get a core team that is going to work best for you, work with you and your needs and what is going to be best for your situation. And that team is definitely very much could be on this call. So make sure you guys reach out to them on their Facebook pages. If you have any questions for them, or any, you want to go over scenarios, a conversation is free. Okay. So free, especially if you're a buyer right now in our market. I bring this up a few different weeks, because this top tips in real estate is mostly leaned towards buyers, because we have our lenders who come on here, and one of the things that I think a lot of people don't realize when they're thinking about if they are a buyer and they think, oh, I don't need to use a realtor because I've got the internet. First and foremost, a realtor doesn't cost you anything if you are a buyer in the process. It is a seller who pays for the people to purchase their home, the realtor to purchase, like to sell their home, I should say. So make sure that you guys are utilizing your realtor to protect you in the process and make sure that you are making the most well-informed information, because we are in this every single day. And having that team behind you, title, mortgage, realtor, who are going to help you along the way, is very vital to the process and communication. So thank you guys again for just coming on here. I just love that you guys show up most weeks to share your big brains in real estate. I want us to get onto the next subject. So if you guys are tuning in live right now, make sure you guys rewatch the portion that we just talked about equity and what to know about equity when it comes to our current market right now. It was very valuable information. And again, if you have any questions, you can reach out to them. Our next portion is the top tip of the week, because this is Thursday's top tips in real estate. So there are always things changing in the real estate industry. So it's great to have this portion of our video so that you guys can stay up to date on what's going on. So Alannah, why don't you start us off? What's your number one top tip of the week?
Hi there, everybody. Alannah with eXp Realty. My top tip for this week is actually going to tie right into our topic because I like to try to do that. Pro tip: if you make one extra mortgage payment per year, you can take a 30-year loan and you can drop it to a 22-year loan. And if that doesn't blow your mind, then think about 8 years worth of interest and do a little calculating on that. And just imagine taking that money and putting it in your pocket instead of rolling down the window and watching it fly away, because that is the difference. So that's my top tip this week.
You don't like to roll down your windows and throw money out the window?
I like it when it's Monopoly money that's biodegradable within 48 hours. Aside from, no, not really.
I love how you're specific. That's biodegradable. Thank you for caring about our environment, Alannah. I really much appreciate it. Thank you for being at the beach right now too. And I'm going to put my hat on now. So that I fit in with Eric and Alannah. So Codi.
Yeah,
I know you don't have a hat. I'm sorry.
This is Hatless Codi, Bourgeois Real Estate Group. My top tip would be to call me. Call me. No, my phone's right here. I'm ready to answer it. No. My top tip would be to, I got to go back to, just use a local professional. Make sure your team is comprised of local professionals, because we know this, we know the area, we know it all better than someone from out of the area would. So that would be my tip, to just make sure you're using local professionals. If they can't explain things to you in detail, find someone who can.
Absolutely, Codi. Great top tip to mention. Using a local professional is the key, especially with our very specific market here along the Treasure Coast. Markets change throughout all different areas, and they differ immensely. So getting a local knowledgeable professional that is going to help guide you along this interesting path of real estate is definitely key. So thank you, Codi, for that. And Eric, what's your number one top tip of the week?
All right, my top tip, because we were talking about equity and we talked a lot about cash out refinances. I'm going to use a very specific example again. I have a client. They are dropping 8 years off their mortgage payment. They are saving, this is a $480,000 mortgage. They're saving $214,313.60, and their payment is almost identical. Reach out to you, hopefully me, but your local mortgage lender, and see where you can save some serious money.
Absolutely. Mortgage, the interest rates right now are really great, guys. Utilize that to your best advantage. And just, again, the conversations are free. Okay. Conversations are free. You can reach out to Eric and or a realtor if you're looking to buy a home or sell your home, whatever it might be. So great information. Thank you so much, Eric, for giving that example. I think numbers really put together things for people in a knowledgeable way. So thank you. My number one top tip of the week is going to be communication. Making sure that you are aware that every piece of the puzzle is important for your professionals that you work with on a team to know in the process. So make sure that you guys aren't withholding information, make sure that everybody is communicated with in the process, and also be aware that not every single transaction is different. There can be hiccups that come along the way, and just be prepared with your seatbelt to get over them with the right team, okay? Because we all know that even right now in our country, there's a bunch of places without power right now because of the crazy weather that's going on. So that can sometimes affect the real estate process. If banks are closed because they can't get to work or whatever it might be, there are different situations that you need to be aware of if there's multiple parties involved. Just be aware that if you're working with the right team, those humps are gonna be a lot easier to get over. So that's my number one top tip of the week.
Because we know how the law protects you when forces outside of our control get involved.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, hurricanes, we get those in Florida. Not hurricane season yet, but yeah, this is the time of year where everybody hates Florida, right? Because
they resent us.
That's funny. Awesome. So we're going to go on to the next portion, which is any announcements that these local professionals have for us today, as well as if you guys are just tuning in right now, we just had a great conversation about what to know about equity in this conversation today. We do host this Thursday's Top Tips in Real Estate every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you happen to be in another state. And you can always rewatch those episodes as well as this episode on our YouTube channel, Arrow Title Services. So let's go along. Alannah, do you have an announcement to make?
I do, as a matter of fact. Going back to those who might be resentful of our loving our weather right now here in Florida, I have a listing coming live on Friday that you might be interested in. So stay tuned and please go to my page and like it so you see it when it comes up. It's right smack dab in Jensen Beach. It is 5 minutes away from the water and you don't want to miss out on it because it's at a really competitive price. So reach out to me if you have any other questions. You'll see more about it shortly on my page.
Sounds good. I'm looking into it. Love it. Thank you, Alannah, for sharing that. Codi, what do you have coming up? Anything people should know about?
Bourgeois Real Estate Group will be sponsoring the Wing and Beer Fest, Anyway Fest in Vero Beach this Saturday. Walking Tree Brewery from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. So if you guys want to come hang out with us, we would love to have you.
Love that.
See you then.
Beer and wings anyway.
Right.
Love it. Thanks so much for sharing that, Codi. It's great to see how involved your office is in the community and getting out there. So love that. And Eric, what about you?
So announcements were at Cross Country Mortgage, at least Team Brandenburger, we are continuing with rush appraisals and guaranteed closes in 21 days. And what that means for you realtors and you buyers, you can go to the table with a much stronger offer in a multiple offer situation with a more likelihood of winning the deal.
Absolutely. Are there any other programs that are coming out? Like, I know that there's been a lot of new programs coming out, and I wonder if you guys have any that are coming up in the next couple of months or so. Is there anything in the works? No,
not that I know of.
Okay, or that just came out, I guess. Jumbo loans. I don't know.
The jumbo loan programs have changed a little with the pandemic and everything. They kind of went away. Now they're back. They're just as strong as they were before. And like we talked about it in prior episodes, the FHA limit and the conventional limit both increased this year.
Great. Awesome. Thank you so much, Eric. Always great to hear that. And our announcement, I mean, it's just going to be this episode that we do every single week, Thursday's Top Tips in Real Estate, as well as we do a market update Monday, every Monday with local realtors. And we talk about the houses that are on the market right now and what those prices are looking like. So it's always great to hear just exactly what's going on and how that update in the market is going, because there's a lot going on in our market right now. We could talk about it for centuries. So thank you guys so much for being here with us today. And for you guys watching live, if you just tuned in now, there is a bunch of information that we just talked about with equity this week. And you can always rewatch those episodes on our Arrow Title Services YouTube channel, as well as make sure you reach out to the local professionals on this call, pick their brains. Conversation is free, and they always have great content on their pages or doing great things in our community. And we just want to make sure that you guys are taken care of at the end of the day and that you understand the best path to navigate in this real estate world. So we do this every single day, and we only want to help you guys. We hope that you guys have enjoyed this. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and we will see you guys again next Thursday at 2 p.m. And we hope you have a great rest of your week. And thank you to the local professionals on here. We will see you guys soon.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Bye.
Peace out.